This is a conversation with Vipul. Vipul is my favorite artist. He sings the songs of Kabir. Kabir is the name of a mystic medieval Indian poet. Vipul completely embodies himself into this tradition and he has written books on Kabir amongst several other books. He gets invited all over the world to sing songs of Kabir. So, through this interaction, I try to break down Vipul's creative process. I hope for you all listening to the conversation that you find your own Kabir, your own favorite form of art, your own Vipul. Because finding Kabir through Vipul has been priceless for me. It's invaluable. Enjoy the conversation. Vipul, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, I would like to start this conversation a bit non-linearly and directly delve into the format of work that you do, in the format of Kabir that you bring to us, which is in the form of these wonderful workshops. So I would like you to start by talking about these workshops.
Well, I do more concerts than workshops. Workshops are only a few in a year. I do many more concerts. So that's much more the primary form of expression. Workshops are fewer, especially the longer workshops are fewer, 1 or 2 a year. So during the workshop, it's a special journey for me also because usually it attracts a bunch of people uh, who are somehow aligned with this kind of thing, with the music, with the thinking, with the poetry. Others can't stick, so they leave within the first day. And also then the space that gets created thanks to the music and the poetry. It's a special space because then people start connecting with each other. It's also a very personal space because then people start sharing how they relate personally with what Kabir is saying, with the songs that they are singing, and also the experience of singing itself provokes many things within people: thoughts, emotions, insights, feelings. So for me, it's an experience of holding that space for everyone and watching that unfold. So it's very rewarding for me also because I can see people's journeys or transformations and that how moved some of them feel. And that is a big reward actually. So also the collective energy is very nourishing for me also. So because when we all sing together, it's a very special thing. It's different from a concert where I'm just singing or performing. In the workshop, we are not performing. So we are just singing together. And that energy of just singing together for ourselves, not for an audience, that has a very special vibration. It elevates something in everyone. And so this collective sort of energy, it gives a lot to me also.
Wow. Uh, Everything you mentioned, I've experienced this for myself, and I followed you around in a few workshops after I experienced the first one. I'm also very curious about your journey, your creative journey to get to this point, because I think this is very unique. So, everyone who is in this tradition, who sings Kabir, has their own flavor of it. And with these workshops in particular, concerts are the main thing that you do, but these workshops that you have come up with seem to be very special. And I think, I'm not sure if this format, have you experienced something like this before? How did you come to this format?
Well, I did some workshops before, even before I encountered Kabir, the folk Kabir, and started singing or listening to him. I was doing some workshops. I did some writing workshops where I was teaching writing and also hmm, some workshops on identity. So, So I sort of went into the workshop format early, where I felt that it's a space, it can be a reflective space where people, because of our lifestyles, people are constantly running all the time. So there are very few spaces where you can stop and reflect. And being residential really helps if you do them in a residential spot, faraway spot, with good energy and food, everything taken care of. That really enables a reflective space. So I'd already sort of started doing that. I did a few workshops in Sindh in Missouri, which is a institute near Missouri. Then I encountered Kabir. I just started listening, and at some point I started performing and singing in 2012. Much later, the workshop started. Actually, they started with just sessions. So in Bangalore, when I was living, I felt like, okay, many people, when they hear these songs, they want to sing them also. They want to learn. So I started offering sessions, just 2.5 hour sessions one morning, Sunday morning. It was our Sunday morning at Shunya. Shunya is a cultural space in Bangalore. They offered the space. I would do the sessions for free. It was not a commercial thing at all. And once a month on a Sunday morning, I would just offer a session where anyone could show up, and you didn't even need to sign up or anything. So anyone could show up, and I would teach one song. And that was already a reflective space, because the way I present Kabir anyway, even in concerts, is I explain the meanings of the words first. But what would happen in those sessions was I I would invite and encourage everyone to share their meanings of around the song, or how they relate to the song. Because once you understood the meaning of the words, there might be words you don't understand. But once you understood the words and the grammar, then you can relate to it in any way based on your personal experience. So that space got created in those sessions. I really started enjoying it because people would share perspectives I had not thought of. So it was very enriching for me also. So those sessions I had already started doing around 2016 maybe. And then the workshop format, the longer residential workshop format, sort of organically evolved. Actually, it happened due to Deer Park, because Pravinji forced me to do it. He said, "We want a program, but it should be at least 5 days then." So, I sat down and designed the workshop for 5 days, just because Pravinji said at least 5 days. Wow, that's how it's life designs these things.
Damn, so it actually didn't get designed at Deer Park. And
Because of
this particular format is very evolved for
the
my
5 day one,
near the place at Deer Park. And after the 5 day, you also condense it down to 2 or 3 days,
yeah,
depending.
for city people who don't have much chance.
Wow. So, so listening to the entire journey, I find it really fascinating that so we all live our own lives. Like anyone who has come run into this Kabir tradition has also lived their lives, and they bring all of that into this tradition. So you had already been writing before this, and you had already been doing workshops. You had understood the power of reflective spaces, communal spaces, and then that started coming into your work with Kabir as well, singing Kabir as well. And at a certain point, it just all came together in this beautiful 5 day workshop, which I have also gotten to experience. And right. So during the workshop, as you said, we talk about different themes. Uh, Everyone starts getting more comfortable. We talk about themes like death and love. We all share what these words mean to us. Then we sing a doha that relates to these themes. While then we sing a song, we learn to sing it together and be in that collective energy where we have created that comfortable space for us. We just let ourselves sing. And we do this over the course of 5 days. We do it with several songs, several themes, and we all just walk out feeling just better, like just feeling lighter, happier, better. So when I first did it, I did not quite understand what happened to me. I was like, okay, this was very surprising. I just serendipitously stumbled upon your workshop through Prathul, who was the first guest on the podcast. And yeah, so I wanted to break this down further from you. You've already tried to do that, but yeah, what are you? What's your intention with these workshops? After all these years, you've seen, so there's a lot in it for you as well, as you say. But is there an intention that you have for people coming to your workshops, like they walk away with something? What is that something?
No, I don't have such a specific intention because I feel like the poetry and the music, they do their own work. So I don't have to set any intentions. I have to be present. So my job is to be present and to enable whatever wants to emerge. So more than that, I can't pre-decide what should happen. I don't know. So I let things unfold. I let things flow, and it's always to watch it flowering. Organically. Each workshop is different, and the people are different, even if they are the same, because many people come back for more workshops. Yeah, but still they are different in that moment. So it all unfolds, and my job is to facilitate this unfolding. So I don't have a specific intention for people. People get different things from the workshop.
It was such an interesting answer, and this is a quality that I had not put into words, but just being a medium for whatever is emerging and letting it happen. I think that's a very special quality. You have stated it very simply. Uh, does it come to you naturally? Did you over time learn to surrender more, let things happen? I'm curious to know about this.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I feel like mm, over time, I realized that with many experiences, with my other experiences also, for example, travel or writing, when I was out of the way, things happened much better. It was a simple observation, which I saw. When I was putting myself there, my mind, my ideas, what should happen, etc., things would not go so well, and also I would have more disappointment, or more need to control and things, like so more tension and stress and so on. So at some point, this is not just with workshops or singing or concerts, but with everything in life. I found slowly, I mean, it took many years, but just by experience and observation, I found that life is already more intelligent than anything we can do. So my mind is quite small, and it is very limited, because of my conditioning, the kinds of thoughts I've received from education or books or whatever, or my family. So my mind works in a certain way, which is quite limited. Uh, so it can only design things in a very limited way, or project things into the future in a very limited way based on the past and so on. Based on only what it knows. But there are so many factors which are outside this. So when I found that when I would allow myself to channel whatever needed to happen, things would turn out much better. It can be scary for the mind in the beginning, because the mind needs to know that is its primary, like, will I be safe? It needs to know. It needs to map things out in order to feel safe and secure, etc. But once you overcome that, and you lose that sense of insecurity, when you start trusting life, then you can allow things to unfold. And again, I noticed that they just unfolded much better, even though I understood them better in retrospect when they already happened. Okay, this is what happened. This is how it was meant to be. I couldn't have foreseen it. But the overall experience was much better. So I felt that why should I make life hard for myself?
Wow. Hmm. And so this is something I'm trying to do. And for example, I have been nomadic for a while, and at times I try to just flow with life. Wherever life is taking me, I just follow along and I reach places. But at the moment, I'm having a short phase where I'm really trying to think it through. Okay, how many days am I going to stay here? Where am I headed next? Where will I record my next episode? Who would be the guest? And I'm trying to surrender, but the mind also keeps coming back into the way. And as you said, in the initial stages of trying to do this, the mind does interrupt. It wouldn't easily let you surrender. And there's something to learn from for me. Just by looking at you, I already knew that you have this quality, but now that you've verbalized it, it helps me. And coming back to the workshop and the format that you've come to, uh, do you have any more ideas about it? Do you think it's still evolving? Uh, do you see it taking some new forms or some adding any new features to it? Uh, yeah.
I mean, it has evolved a little bit. I've added some few exercises. It can evolve more, but in a major way, I don't know. I'm not thinking about it. If it evolves, it will come, and if it doesn't evolve, that's also fine. But it's not something I'm actively thinking about. Um, if it needs to evolve, it will evolve.
Wow. Yeah, this is such a fine balance, Vibhu. Like, so you have to be the doer of the thing that's happening, but at the same time, you do not let your mind take too much control, and but you also don't sit stagnant. Like you do not, you do the work that's coming to you, quite you let it happen more organically, and
Yeah, it's a. The thing is, when you are asked to do something, then you have to do it.
like
So, and it may not be comfortable. So, at that time, you have to be ready. So, it's not the park of East resistance. That's not what it is. Uh, it's not just lying back and taking it easy. And that's not what I mean. What I mean is, uh, when you feel a strong impulse to go somewhere or do something, then you have to follow it. And it may not always be easy. It may be challenging. So then you have to do it and follow through. At other times, it may make things simpler and easier. But I feel like there's always a sort of compass inside us, which is always sort of guiding us. Okay, what is the next step? What is the next step? What is the next step? So, and it could be anything. So, for example, if tomorrow I have a strong intuition I should stop doing the workshops altogether, that's what I'll do. But my mind may be thinking otherwise. So it's unpredictable. And this unpredictability is what mind sees as insecurity, right? But it's just unpredictability. It doesn't mean that you are in danger. It just means that you don't know, you'll find out. But uh, when the work needs to be done, you have to do it. Like I designed the workshop. When life said, okay, now you have the opportunity to do this. Then I designed the workshop. Then over the first few workshops, I learned how to make it better. I got feedback. I saw what worked, what did not work. So it's refining itself. So I am doing that work. It's not without work. All the singing that I do is a lot of work also. It's just joyful, but it's a lot of work because you have to keep practicing many times to get it right.
Right. Right. You do have to bring yourselves to us when you're in the workshop. In every session, you have to do the work. Okay, I think I'm going to listen back to this part of the conversation and try to absorb it. There's a lot there for me. So, um, so I'm also very keen on how you are able to create this wonderful safe space for everyone to come together and share very personal parts of their lives. And so that is such a important part of the work that you do during the workshops. Think so we just say we bring those parts of ourselves on the forefront. And with those parts of ourselves we then sing. So we are very real when we're singing. We it's our real selves are all together and then collectively we sing together and something like that. So what's your experience been in trying to creating these spaces?
See, the main thing that people are afraid of is judgment. Look, people don't reveal who they are or they're not able to be themselves because of fear of judgment, right? So we experience judgment since our childhood and it's so then we start hiding ourselves and we start being inauthentic. So the space that you're talking about gets created because I insist on a lack of judgment from myself and from others. Uh, so I have to watch out in myself that I don't uh, judge what anyone brings to the table, even if I don't agree with it. I don't have to show it. I don't have to say anything. And in any case, it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree. It's not important. What they are sharing is the important thing. So that is the one thing, and the other thing is to keep a tight leash on other people's judgments because that is a human tendency. So that's why I don't allow intellectual discussions in the workshop because once you get into intellectual or theoretical or mental discussions, then the judgments come very fast. So that's why I only ask for personal experiences or feelings because then you can't bring a judgment for someone else, right? So and that also encourages other people to put themselves forward, and there are always some brave people who will put themselves forward first, who will share themselves. That gives courage to other people also to reveal who they are, and that's how this space gets created.
Beautiful. So when you were introduced to Kabir, as you say, everyone has a version of Kabir. And so there was a certain version that you've experienced. And I suppose that comes to us through your writing and through your, even through your singing, the way you sing the choice of songs, the way you sing them, and through the workshops, which is my favorite format that we are in breaking down in this conversation. So, would you like to so again, as you say that you just happen to be the doer of whatever needs to be done, and but this doer, what do you think is happening through this doer? That is Vipul. Uh, when Kabir is coming through Vipul and expressing, being expressed out into the world. What is this version bringing forth?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like my particular, let's say, my particular tone or pitch or gift is authenticity. So, uh, what I bring or the way I'm able to channel Kabir through a lot of work over a long time is to bring it in as raw and authentic a form as possible. Uh, and that's how people relate to it also. That's the feedback I get very often. Um, and the other feedback that I get very often, which like reflects me back to myself, is of healing. And people feel that they always find it very soothing and healing. And I think these two aspects are what are coming through me. Um, because maybe somewhere I was looking for this myself.
Wow. Another you put it into words. Authenticity, yes. Yes. And I think this is something I have also been looking for. And I found it in your work, found it in community. And just being around you and watching you just be yourself during that time. It encourages me to be myself, and it does the same with other participants. And then we have that space where we are all just being ourselves. And that's such a wonderful energy to be in. And yeah, this is what's going out with your work as well. And who doesn't need healing? Right? So thank you for the work that you're doing, or thank you for channelizing the work that's coming to you, happening through you, letting it radiate into the world. And I think at this moment I do not have um, more questions coming to me, but I feel wonderful that I'm able to, like, I've been able to uh, have these conversations with you. This is the first one that's been recorded, but I've had the pleasure of picking your minds about a lot of things, and I'll continue to do that on record or not. Uh, is there something that you would like to share yourself without me asking any specific questions after this conversation, the kind that you have had? Something's coming to you. Do you like to share?
Mm, well, right now I'm working on a book uh, about redefining wealth, how we understand our idea of wealth. And I feel like this, whatever we talked about, this tradition, this music, this space, these workshops, and just the authenticity itself in any context is this other wealth that we lack in our world, because everyone is so obsessed and focused with a certain kind of wealth which is very material and which is nice and important. I also enjoy it. Don't condemn it or anything, but if you have this anything in your life, then it's very poor. So I I feel that when I share this, and there's a kind of wealth that grows when you share. So when I share it, my share also grows. So that's what's been happening for me through the concerts and the workshops.
Wow, I did not know about this book. And what an interesting topic. And one that very well relates to my life at this moment, as you know it. Uh, I'll be very curious to read the book. So I think we'll wrap this conversation for now. And it's been a short one, but I think I would like to keep the format of this podcast serendipitous and wouldn't want to extend it just to keep strict to a standard length. But I think I'll come back to you. We'll have more conversations in the future.
Sure.
Thank you for taking the time. I hope you enjoyed listening. If you would like to stay connected with the guest or with me, you will find some links in the description. I hope to see you in the next episode.